With the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
I'm Whitney Baker, coach, facilitator, meditation teacher, and writer. Electric Ideas is for women, especially mothers, who are done disappearing inside their responsibilities. If you're holding everything together but running on empty or feeling disconnected from your needs and desires, this is a place to come back to yourself. If you're ready to feel alive again in the messy middle of real life, you're in the right place. Let's spark something. Hey all, welcome back to Electric Ideas. I'm your host, Whitney Baker. So it is May, and if you're a mom, I know you've got all the happenings happening with kids and year-end and performance and recitals, graduations, field day, wear a random color day because moms need one more thing to think of during this month. Then right in the middle of all of it, we have Mother's Day. I was thinking this year that maybe we need a Mother's Month instead of a Mother's Day, and maybe even a different time of year for a Mother's Month. So planting that seed. Maybe somebody else can hop on that movement. I've been talking to people about Mother's Day and how it went for them. And I did talk to one mom who made me feel a little sad because she said they had a bunch of kids' activities on Mother's Day and that it felt like any other Sunday or any other day for her. And listen, having stuff going on doesn't bother me because I know that's a reality. For many moms, some of this stuff is out of our control. But when she said that Mother's Day felt basically like a run-of-the-mill day, that made my heart hurt for her a little bit. Because we all know moms do so much and we deserve to be cared for and feel acknowledged and special and free, both on Mother's Day and the rest of the year. I'll say that on the other hand, I know moms who had, games or performances on Mother's Day, and they were more in the there's no place I would rather be attitude. And having women have very similar experiences but feel differently about them got me thinking about how complex our journey of motherhood is and how important it is to stop worrying about anything that anyone else is doing on their motherhood journey, unless it's inspiring you, I suppose, but to really get honest with yourself. Because in some ways there is nothing better, for example, than being present for that good night snuggle in bed. But if you are at an age where that is even on the evening menu, sometimes you feel like soaking it in. And other times you're probably tapped out, touched out, and you're like, yeah, I kind of just really need you to go to bed right now because I am drained. Both of those experiences are fine. In the same vein, it's really fun to see our kids shining in their activities and finding what they love doing and what brings them joy. That can be a really fulfilling part of our motherhood journeys. But sometimes when we tip into bitterness and feel like we're just cruise directing everybody else in the family and not doing anything that feels joyful for ourselves, it can become a form of disconnection and hiding. When we in the United States celebrate Memorial Day, it kind of feels like the beginnings of summer for me. As you move into this season that is often just more easily anchored around joy, just remember there is no right or wrong in when or how or what brings you a sense of joy. There's only your truth and what's right for you and your willingness to listen and be honest and choose differently if things in your day-to-day aren't working out for you. I've had so many touch points and conversations with moms this week that are just powerfully reminding me that what is right for you and what feels good to you and what feels joyful for you can change day to day, year to year, and season to season. But I think it's important for you to be honest with yourself. And again, to remember as you're probably like filling out the camp forms for your kids, that your nourishment and your joy matter too. When I work with moms in a one on one capacity, something that is fundamental to the work we do is building deep self connection and awareness so that you are choosing consciously and so that you are choosing from a place of your own internal knowing and not doing things just because it's what you think you should be doing or what you saw people doing or what people in your community are doing or because you have no idea what's going to make you feel good at this station of your motherhood journey. I love sharing examples because I just see how this comes to life in very different, unique ways for different women. So, for example, one woman in my community who has this major full-time job outside of her very real job as mother of four, after having her fourth child, she'd decided to take an extended maternity leave. And part of the reason she wanted to take an extended maternity break is to have more time with her family and her newborn. But she'd also romanticized in her mind how much she would love having time to do hands-on work in her garden and go through her closets and do some of these things that she felt she was either missing out on or felt backlogged in her life. And guess what she found out? She does not actually like gardening. She doesn't have a green thumb and she didn't enjoy learning or trying. And she'd rather pay someone to help her with organizing than do it herself. What she really wanted to do was get back to the office and build empires because that is what she realized actually gives her a sense of joy and purpose. So she's honoring her truth and not apologizing for her ambition because that's part of what brings her joy. And when we make choices that truly give us joy, that joy ripples to all of our contributions, including how we show up for our families. In another quick example, one of my clients took a power pause, one of my new favorite terms from her career, and she has a gazillion family things going on and competing for her attention. But she knows that taking the time to slow down and make a little bit more elaborate dinners is something she deeply, truly enjoys. It's a creative act for her. It feels nourishing. It feels good for her. It not only feeds her family, but it feeds her soul. And making those meals is not coming from a place of should or punishment. It genuinely brings her joy. So she's going to choose that and she's going to ripple her joy. Okay, I'm going to share one more example that's top of mind right now because maybe you'll see yourself in one of these examples. Maybe it will inspire you to think about and prioritize small things that bring you joy. Joy can be big, but it doesn't have to look like some big performance of wearing like a sequined rainbow bikini on your roller skates in the summer or something. I mean, go big if you want. But for most moms, their feeling of joy is more of a felt sense of aliveness, connection, inner expansion. And it often comes in moments where you feel fully present and deeply like yourself. Because sometimes as moms, especially during months like May, need to remind ourselves to claim it for ourselves that we're people, not just roles. And this is something that one of my clients is continuing to learn and explore right now. One of my clients is navigating part-time work from home while raising her kids. And for a long time, she carried a constant sense of failure because she just never felt caught up. If something sat unfinished on her list, she saw it almost as proof, like she was falling short. If there was a pile of laundry sitting around, she'd feel activated and stressed and like she just could not get to everything. But over time, with consciously weaving in practices for rest and joy, it loosened her up from rigid thinking. And she's started questioning whether some of the stuff she's doing is really necessary or if she's just putting lots of pressure on herself. Ding, ding, ding. So she's really learned that caring for herself is not separate from caring for her family, that giving herself time to slow down and reconnect with herself and release some of the pressure has actually translated in her ability to be more patient, more grounded, and present in her actual life. So, what looks and feels like joy for her definitely does not involve cupcakes, sprinkles, and glitter right now. For her, joy looks like simplifying her list, giving herself grace, setting realistic expectations, and learning techniques to shut it all down so she can actually allow herself and permit herself to be open to presence and spontaneity and the little joys of day to day life without everything just feeling like a chore to her. So, knowing yourself really well and being really honest about what's true for you and your capacity in any given season is super, super important. So I come to you mom to mom. Yes, I've coached and facilitated and learned for many, many years about all of these topics, but I'm also a human being whose life and capacity and days change as my kids change. But in case it inspires you for next year, my approach to Mother's Day and family life and set myself up to feel joy. For me right now, that feels like vitality, that feels like warmth and lightness and space. So what I do that probably does not sound very luxurious to some of you, but again, it's like it just has to be true to you. It doesn't make a bit of difference what it looks like or sounds like to anyone else. But the last few years for Mother's Day, I have asked for the exact same thing. Number one, I don't want gifts. If I'm going to get a candle, no offense, I'd rather pick one out that I want for myself. I ask for a specific project that I don't feel like doing to be executed in the house. This year, I asked my husband to measure empty picture frames in our house and then let me willy-nilly send him random photos to have printed in the right sizes. That sounds little, but for me, for some reason, like doing that and putting all the pictures in the folder and printing them and picking them up and then putting them in, I just wanted it done. And that was the ask. That is exactly what I wanted. I have to laugh though, because I failed to communicate or think about telling them about like horizontal or vertical pictures. So the project is still in progress because we've got several frames with a photo that's the wrong direction in it. But, we're all trying. And then separate from like a small project that I just want done and I want someone else to do it because I want my mental capacity. I ask for unstructured family time outside, tech free, and I ask for a healthy dinner that I have no part in planning, executing, or cleaning up. And then I ask for some alone time to do whatever the heck I want. And then on that day, I ask myself what I want to do. Maybe I want to write. Maybe I want to go to yoga. Maybe I want to go for a walk by the lake. I ask for that sense of spaciousness and spontaneity because that brings me joy. Some years I get together with girlfriends, and that's a fun change of pace. But whether it's Mother's Day or just life, you've got to have the clarity first and the self-connection and the honesty, and then the communication skills to be honest with your people. Your people are not mind readers, but they don't want to see you overburdened. They don't want to see you stretched and depleted. They want to see you lit up and excited about whatever's happening in your day, whatever is bringing you joy. We just get so bogged down as moms with all the logistics and the planning and trying to juggle all the balls that we forget that it doesn't take that much, but it does take some intention to create joy for ourselves. One of my clients wrote me a note and it was like she'd had this aha moment. And she wrote me, I'm suddenly realizing I don't have to travel or do something extravagant to feel restored or experience joy. And I'm like, yes, you got it. Yes, yes, yes. So in the vein of that yes and this joy, I want you guys all to subtly but intentionally claim for yourselves. Even as we wrap up busy May, I want to give you a couple super, super quick, simple practices to help you step into your own joy. So number one, bring yourself back into the present moment. When worry or anxiety pulls you into the future, when your brain is all over the place of who's going to do pickup from camp? What on earth sunscreen are we supposed to be using at this point? Do I have too many summer plans? Or on the other side of that fun game to play with yourself, is my kid going to have too much unstructured time? I don't want him in his room on Roblox all summer, nor do I want to battle about screen time all summer. Yada, yada, yada. Every mom has their own emotional labor reel that is real for them. When you notice this happening, pause. Do something sensory focused to bring you back into the here and now. So, for instance, you can ground yourself by bringing your awareness to a single pleasant sensory experience. Think taking a sip of cold lemonade, stepping outside and placing your feet on the grass, or really noticing a flower and all of its intricacy, just really bringing your senses back to the present moment. Because worrying when you're not in a place to truly contemplate something or do something about it is just an experience blocker. If you're finding there is a lot on your mind, you might even keep a journal and just write things down as they come up. You can even call it your worry journal. Then designate a small 15-minute block during your day for when you're going to consciously bring energy and attention to your smaller worries that are nagging you. This might sound silly, but it's actually very freeing because you can say, hey, worry, I see you, but you're not going to get my attention right now because I'm trying to actually enjoy a meal with my kid, or I'm actually trying to move the needle on a project at work that feels important for me. So I'll get back to you. Okay, the second quick, simple practice that I want to invite you into in order to bring that sense of joy into your day-to-day life is to channel the broaden and build effect. So maybe some of you guys are familiar with this research, but basically, research shows that positive emotional states actually change the way we think and act. I hope, like when I say that, it's like we all know that on some level, but it's hard to make time to do nourishing and joyful things that shift our energy sometimes when we get into busy, overstimulated, task mastering mom days. So remind yourself that when we feel moments of joy, when we're in that connection, curiosity, that our thinking broadens. We become more flexible in our thinking. We become more open. We become more creative. We see more possibilities. We problem solve differently. We relate differently. The opposite is true. When we are stressed, it's as if our world narrows. We're more rigid in our thinking and in our lives and our interactions. And this is why joy matters more than people realize. It's not because mothers simply deserve a break, even though you absolutely do. Joy matters because your state of mind shapes the quality of your life and your relationships and your ability to lead teams or communicate clearly and consciously with your child. So next time you're feeling bogged down, joyless, stressed, remember the broaden and build effect and see if you can do something to consciously change your energy. Barbara Fredrickson, who is one of the scientists that is associated with developing the broaden and build theory, talks about how positive emotions don't just make us feel good temporarily. Her work shows that over time, positive emotions help us build emotional and social and cognitive resources. And to be honest, this is exactly why companies I work with are companies that value creativity. They're in the service of solving problems and they need fresh thinking. Shifting your emotional state is not frivolous. It actually changes your ability to create, whether that's at work or in your mothering or in whatever else you're lovingly building in your world. All right. So if you are like leaned in a little bit on this conversation and you are ready to commit to your own joy because you know, and science tells us that mothers don't lose their ability to play like children or wonder. We don't become less imaginative as mothers. We just lose access to these parts of us sometimes because they become blocked when we are needing to be vigilant and when we're cognitively overloaded and when we're putting lots of pressure on ourselves. But this is why I'm so excited to share with you today that the Electric Ideas Summer Joy Challenge for Moms is back for 2026. Last summer, I just had this idea to do a Summer Joy Challenge for moms because modern motherhood creates this unique tension for us because we have a paradoxical role because we are facilitating fun and play for everyone else in the summer while also losing access to our own ability to experience joy and that kind of unstructured summer fun and play that we also want. So I want to invite you into the Summer Joy Challenge. The Summer Joy Challenge starts in June and it is free and fun and simple. All it is a weekly email that just gives you this little gift of almost like a mini joy assignment for your week. I have never gotten as many emails from the community as I did last summer because everybody was like, I loved this, or I needed this today. I've been chasing around the kids and I just needed permission, or I needed an excuse, or I told my family I had to do my Summer Joy Challenge. And listen, these are things that you have a whole week to implement, and it's like a 15-minute thing. There's a link in my bio. Make sure to sign up. Make sure to share it with your friends because it's also just fun to share notes and be like, what are you going to do for yours this week? What are you going to do? So make sure you snag your spot within the Summer Joy Challenge. Just to bring us to a close, a few key takeaways I want to make sure you walk away with from this conversation. One of the main ingredients for opening up to joy in your motherhood experience is to start listening and trusting what feels good for you, and then being fiercely loyal to yourself and your listening. As I shared with my clients, you might be in a phase of your motherhood journey where leaning into more outside work or a bigger project feels exciting. You might be in a phase where learning to just accept the season you're in and slow down where you can and carving out time to make sourdough sounds amazing. Let that listening be what guides you right now. I always end with an opportunity for reflection. So this week, ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? It's that simple. And if you need help remembering, or you just need a nudge to consistently pour a little bit into your joy cup, make sure to claim your spot in the 2026 Electric Ideas Summer Joy Challenge. Reach out to me via Instagram at Whitney Woman. You can DM me if you have any questions about the challenge. Again, fun, simple. See you there. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your day. I'm so glad you joined me today. If you're looking for more, feel free to connect with me on Instagram at Whitney Woman. And if you enjoyed the show, I invite you to support me by leaving a review or sharing it with a friend. Hope you have an inspired day.